All right, let us discuss about exact cost and marginal cost. Now, in our previous discussion, we discussed about the definition of cost, the definition of revenue, and the definition of profit. Now, what is exact cost and marginal cost? This is very important. So let's consider, for example, for example, a cost function. A cost function c of x. Remember, when you say a cost function c of x, it represents the total cost. This means the total cost of producing x items, not a single items, right? That is, so that is the total cost. Now, what is the cost of producing one additional item? For example, total cost of producing x plus 1 items, so is c of x plus 1, right? Total cost of producing x items is c of x. Now the difference, so exact cost of producing the x plus 1 item is equal to c of x plus 1 minus c of x. That is known as the exact cost. For example, assume that here, let us explain this one using graph. This is the cost function. This is the number of items, and the cost function is, let's say, this one, right? This is your cost function, and you have x item, and you add one more item, x plus 1, right? So this one is, the difference, that is changing x is equal to x plus 1 minus x, which is a difference of one item. Now, if you look at this one, cost at x plus 1, this one is cost at x. So what is the slope here? The vertical one is c of x plus 1 minus c of x. The horizontal one is 1. So what is the slope? Here, the slope generally is c of x plus 1 minus c of x. That is known as, in generally, the exact cost. So this one is exact cost of producing one more item. Now you can look at this one approximately, right? The slope in general, we said that the slope refers to derivative, right? Derivative. So the derivative at x is approximately c of x plus 1 minus c of x. Remember, the exact cost is not exactly the same as the marginal, but it is approximately, because the exact cost is, the cost of producing one more item, that is, the horizontal difference is 1, and the vertical one is c of x plus 1 minus c of x. And we said that, the difference or the slope is the derivative. So this one is the marginal cost. Marginal cost is approximately equal to this one. So that's how we find those variable. So let's use an example and elaborate this one. Example. Let's say a company manufactures fuel tanks for cars. The total weekly cost in dollars, this one in dollars, of producing X tanks is given by let's say C of X is equal to 10,000 plus 90x minus 0.05 x squared. Let's say this is your model. That is the cost. Remember, 10,000 now, you can see that it is a fixed cost, right? So the first question, for example, find the marginal cost function. Now, remember, the marginal cost function means what is the derivative of the cost function, right? So, the derivative of 10,000 is 0, so 19 minus 2 times 0.05 x, which is, this is 90 minus 0.1 x. That is the marginal cost. Now, let us answer this question as well. Find the marginal cost. For example, here, find the marginal cost at a production level of 500 tanks per week. So find the marginal cost. We have the marginal cost function, so the marginal cost at the production level of 500, so substitute 90 minus 0.1 times 500. So this becomes, this is $40, right? When you just evaluate this one. So what is the interpretation of this one? So the interpretation of this one is, at a production level of 500 tanks per week, the total production costs are increasing at a rate of $400 per tank. That is, we expect the next or 500 tank to cost about $40. That is the interpretation. For example, there are questions that ask you interpret. For example, here interpret the result. The result is in part B, right? How do you interpret? So you can write, a similar statement, but don't forget the main point is here. For example, at a production level of 500 tanks per week, the total production costs are increasing because the change is positive. This is critical, increasing at the rate of because we said that marginal is change or rate at the rate of $40 per tank. You see this one? Or generally we expect the next or the 101st tank to cost about $40. So that is the interpretation. The interpretation, this is very critical, and at a production level of this one, and at the rate of $40 per tank, that is the increasing at the rate of $40 per tank.